Hi everyone. I just wrapped up um, my first day hunting of the 2022 deer hunting season with my husband, and it was actually an all-day hunt. So we sat in our blind from around 6:15 till around 6 at night. So it was almost a 12-hour hunt. So that was pretty cool. We saw, let's see, a total of maybe 15 does. We saw a couple bucks, and we saw what's called a button buck and a spike, which is just a buck with um, two spikes on its head. So it hasn't grown a full rack, but it's just a baby. Um, but the biggest thing that happened today was around 9 a.m. We were sitting there and a buck came to our feeder, and he was a buck that we had been following on our trail cams. Um, he was a nice 12-point buck, but he's what we call a 5 by 7. So that means he has 5 points on one side and 7 points on the other. So he is uneven. Um, and we had said when we saw this buck, well, I really wanted to take him, but after talking it through with my husband and another one of our good friends, I was like, okay, I'm gonna let him walk if I see him because it would be really cool to see how his rack shapes up next year, if it becomes even more unusual looking, or if it evens out. So when I saw him this morning at 9 a.m., like it was, I'm not gonna lie, it was really hard to make that decision as I was looking at him through the scope of my crossbow to let him go because he is a beautiful buck. I mean, he's really nice, just a big body. Not as tall. His rack isn't as tall as I had hoped. But it was just really cool just sitting there knowing that I could have taken him. I could have pulled the trigger and had him, but knowing that I made the decision to let him walk. And as he was leaving, I was following him with my binoculars. And for a few hours after that, I did have some hunter's remorse. Like, oh my goodness, like, what did I just let go? What did I do? But by the end of the night, I was able to reason with myself and say, okay, yeah, I made the right decision because I do really want to see if he turns up next year and what he looks like. So that was the biggest thing that happened today during our hunt. Another cool thing is that by the end of the night, we saw around 12 does like just come up to our feeder from all different directions, and my husband and I were pretty sure that a big buck, was pushing them in that direction, and it being the rut, and it being mating season, like that is not completely like out of the question. Um, and we did see a smaller 8 pointer come out around that time, around the same size as the buck that I harvested in 2016. So not a big buck, but still it was cool to see. Um, but yeah, so that kind of summarizes my hunt from today. Um, we are going to go back out tomorrow morning. We are just going to hunt a half day. Um, and hopefully we see some cooler things. And we still have a few more days of the rut to hunt. So a lot can happen in that time. So I'm just super excited. So I'm going to wrap this up, but I will hopefully have some cool things to share tomorrow. Good night.